What's happening, everybody? Sean Daniel with Guitar Control here. We are breaking out the absolute hits. This is Your Song by Elton John. Definitely a very famous piano song, but it sounds just as romantic and beautiful on an acoustic guitar. So make sure you click the link below because I'm going to give the chords for what we're doing here. And this is going to be an easy kind of singer-songwriter version. Really incredible chord progression, really well written, well composed. And we're going to break it in different parts to make it super easy. If you want to play along with the album version, you're going to want to put a cape on the first fret, but I wanted to do this in standard tuning just to make it more accessible. Because again, this is your song. This is my song. This is your song. And we're going to break it into the verse and the chorus. They have similarities, but basically it's going to sound like this. Okay, so now there is one variation and it comes with that last chord, but before we even get there, I want to break this into 4 parts. So again, there's let's say two parts and 4 sections for the first part, okay? So, really quick, you have a D major chord, middle finger, 2nd fret on the high E string, ring finger, 3rd fret on the B string, pointer finger, 2nd fret on the G string. Now, we can just strum it like... The way that I'm strumming it and counting is like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So down, down, up, down, up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You can do it just like 1, 2, 3, 4 and switch chords like that. Or you can... Or it's kind of like a hybrid between strumming and picking. But we're really just going to talk about the strumming for right now. Those first 2 chords are going to be D to a G major 7. Now, the G major 7 voicing that I picked for this one, again, this is technically a piano song, is this one right here, where if we're going from a D major, and you keep your ring finger locked in, put your middle finger to the low E string, 3rd fret, and then your pointer finger to the 2nd fret on the high E string. You get a nice G major 7 that is kind of piano sounding, I guess is one way to kind of look at it. And then I think that last beat, it sounds good if you take your pointer finger off. Again, anytime you see a G major 7 or a G7, you can always replace it with a G major. You could just as easily go D to G. But for posterity's sake, D, A, F sharp minor. Okay, so don't worry about the F sharp minor, there's easier ways to play this. But first things first, A major is the 3rd chord in that first section. Just open A, 2D, 2G, 2B, open E to F sharp minor. Okay, so a lot of people get upset at F sharp minor, right? They're like, ah, you hurt my hand with this bar chord, it's ridiculous. Technically, you can bar the 2nd fret with your index finger, grab the 4th fret on the A string and the 4th fret on the D string. You can use your middle finger as kind of like extra power to lay down on top of that if you want. Or what you can do, you could actually do a prettier version of this that definitely works in this song that is a lot easier, where it's just your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the A string, pinky 4th fret on the A string, pinky 4th fret on the D string, pointer finger 2nd fret on the G string, and just get a nice chimey open sounding chord, right? So like a D, G major 7. Okay, so it sounds fine. Doesn't really sound accurate, but it's easy and it kind of fits. We'll go with it if you want. It's up to you, right? Here's the bar chord version, and here's the open version. After this, we have this really cool descending. So this is going to be section 2, right? Now, it starts off with the B minor chord. All right, so 2nd fret on the A string, ring finger, 4th fret on the D string. Someday I'll figure out what frets these fingers go on. 4th fret of the G string pinky, 3rd fret of the B string middle finger, right? So what we have here is going to be kind of a bass walk where you're hearing in the bass of the piano or the bass guitar in the song, 2A, open A, 4E, 3E, right? So instead of changing all the chords, which you could do, we're really going to change the root note of this B minor chord. So the first way to do that, we just kind of get a root, open, this guy right here. Okay, so all I did for the first variation, we'll call this like a B minor with an A in the bass. 1, 2, 3, 4, open that A string up. Now again, we want to get this note right here. There's a couple different ways to do this. Some people use their thumb. As you can hear, I'm not a thumb player. I like swinging my middle finger to that root note on that G sharp, and then having my pointer finger grab the 3rd fret of the B string. This technically creates like a G sharp minor 7 flat 5 chord if you want to look at it that way. I think it's easier to look at as a descending bass line, and then you end on a G major 7, which is really easy to go from this shape to this shape because these two stay locked down. So you go from 4E, skip the A string, 4 and 4 on the D and G string, 1 on the B string. You get your pointer finger up to the root note, which is the G, and your middle finger goes where your pointer finger just was. Again, if you want to really just, use your thumb for this, that's fine too, but I really think this is a pretty easy way to do it. And it sounds like you're doing something really, really cool, right? So again, section 1, we've got D to G major 7, to A major, to F sharp minor, to B minor, open the A string, get the G sharp there, then G major 7. Section 3 is D, A major, F sharp major, what? B minor. So it's easy conceptually, but we have our first compositional change where F sharp was a minor chord the first time. In section 3 now it's major because we're kind of getting a little more hopeful. It's really just a way to, manipulate the class of a chord, whether it's major or minor, to kind of help tell the story, which I think is a really beautiful way to do it. And it's something that Elton John does in a lot of his songs when you really kind of dig into his playing. So, something really cool to do here. D, major, A major. We've seen these before. The only difference here is, remember, minor, the minor 3rd was the 2nd fret on the G string. So instead of going 4, 4, 2, we're going to go 4, 4, 3. There's with the bar, and here it is open. It's up to you. And then just move that a string higher, and you'll end up with B minor. So again, the 3rd section is D, A, F sharp major, B minor. Section 4, D, E minor 7, G, A. Okay, so I want to talk about this real quick. The chords are easy. We have this D chord to a G chord. We have this D chord to an E minor 7 chord, which you can play E minor if you want, but I think if you play a G chord like this, middle finger 3rd fret on the low E string, pointer finger 2nd fret on the A string, ring finger 3rd fret on the B string. You can kind of keep your ring finger there, and then just go to that open E minor. Alright, just like that. D, E minor 7. Then we go to the G, then A. Now I want to talk about that last chord right there, okay? Now this A technically leads us back to D, which is where we start the verse over again. So the first time you play that, A leads back to D, A being the 5th, like the 5th note of any chord, D, E, F, G, A, is going to lead you back to the 1 chord, right? So the first time we go through that, A leads us back into the chorus again, right? Or the verse, the first chord of the verse. Now once we want to lead into the chorus, if the chorus starts with a different chord, like a lot of choruses do often, maybe you should change that last chord to push it in a different direction, okay? So, at the end of section 4, we have 4 chords, like we talked about, right? We have D, E minor 7, G, and then A. But what if it was D, E minor 7, G, D? Okay, that's going to kind of give us a resolution to that, and that's going to kind of help propel us into the next part of the song, which is the chorus, which is going to sound like this. Okay, so when it ends on an A, usually you're going to a D in this case. And if it ends on a D, a lot of times that means you're either ending, or you can start at the chorus, which is really just an A major chord. So we're going to break this into 4 sections again, just like part 1. This first one is going to start with an A. A lot of times you'll see this written as A with the C sharp in the bass, which just means here, because the 4th fret on the A string, if you replace the root note of an open A chord with that, you get a little bit more of a piano inversion-y sound. But for the purposes of the video, we're just going to play an open A major chord. This is the so you can tell everybody part, right? So again, we've got this A major chord to B minor, to E minor 7, to a G, or a G major 7. A to B minor, to E minor, to G, same thing really. And then we have that descending bass run from the beginning of the song, the first section. Then we have D, E minor, G. If we're early in the song, we go back to the A, which brings us back to the verse, or if we're at the end of the song, we hit D major to resolve the whole thing, okay? So, really, I urge you to click the link below to grab the tabs and the chord chart for this song, because it's really something that, even though, okay, well, it's 2 parts, each part is 4 sections, a lot of the parts are similar. I think it's really, really helpful to just kind of see it all in front of you, and then just work on one piece at a time, all right? Be like, I'm going to work on section 1 right now. I'm really going to try to get these 4 sections for this part down, and then you'll see that it actually helps with section 2, because some of them, like I said, are the exact same thing. It's just kind of in a little bit different of a rearranged order, okay? So now there's also like an intro that you can work on too, that you can look up, but really I just wanted to do an easy singer-songwriter version of this song, and again, in case you missed it earlier, capo is technically on the 1st fret if you want to play it in the original key that Elton famously sings it in. So hopefully that made sense to you guys. Maybe encourage you to learn some more, maybe intensive compositions. Really try making stuff up on your own, because, again, studying Elton John songs is really a masterclass in kind of songwriting, compositional arrangement stuff too. So really a great song to learn on a guitar. Let us know if you want to hear and see any other Elton John songs. Let us know what other requests you have, and make sure to click around on the Guitar Control channel to check out other videos by myself and other fine instructors, and we'll talk to you all soon. Thanks a lot.